What if I told you that those feelings of loneliness and misunderstanding in this world are not a punishment, but a sign? A sign that your soul was not made for grey days and monotony? What if those barriers and inner doubts you hide so carefully are actually a call to awakening? Imagine a person who spent their whole life trying to fit into the system, following other people's demands, but every time felt like losing themselves. This is no accident. It is a challenge. An inner voice, much like the one whispering to Helena Blavatsky, softly says, "You are made for something greater." Just like her, many have walked this path of seeking deeper meaning, embracing wisdom, and awakening hidden potential in themselves and others. Her life shines as an example of how the internal resistance to the world and its usual rules can become the beginning of an extraordinary spiritual journey. The world is full of people running on autopilot, following long-established norms. Yet among them, there are always those who feel like outsiders even in the most familiar places. For instance, one woman always sensed that her talent was too unusual for a traditional office, and her ideas too bold for everyday life. She couldn't stay long in workplaces that valued only precise instructions and not inspiration or creativity. Her soul demanded freedom and self-expression. That inner unrest, or spiritual dissonance as Blavatsky called it, became her path to realizing her mission. Another example is a man who lived his entire life working for security and stability. Suddenly, he felt a powerful urge to change the world around him. He began to question, why this race for material things when true peace and happiness reside within? These feelings are not rare. They mark a change in consciousness, an evolution of the soul, as Helena Blavatsky taught. She emphasized the importance of moving toward higher realms of being and rejecting imposed limitations. You may wonder why this inner voice often gets drowned out by the fears and doubts of society. The reason is that the modern world operates on principles that do not take the human spiritual nature into account. We are used to thinking success means the amount of work done and money earned. Yet, those whom fate calls to bear a special mission find that no titles or positions fill their soul. For example, there was a young man excelling at school and work but feeling an emptiness inside. What inspired him was not career, but a sense of service and creativity. Helena Blavatsky often spoke about the human soul carrying sacred tasks impossible to fulfill through material achievements alone. It is like trying to plant a rare flower in unsuitable soil. Sure, it may grow, but will never blossom fully in its beauty. In moments like these, people realize that external success is not equal to inner awakening. What many mistake for laziness or lack of motivation is actually a profound spiritual resistance. One man I know faced constant reluctance to dive into routine tasks and was criticized for it by society. But inside, he understood that his strength and purpose lie beyond daily duties, in awakening hearts and leading people, fearlessly walking his own path. Helena Blavatsky called this the inner ray that cannot be extinguished. This ray guides the chosen ones toward their true calling, pushing them to break old limits and overcome difficulties. Even if others do not understand you and you yourself doubt at times, this is a sign that you are being led toward a bright future. The awakening path of the chosen is never easy. Many childhood beliefs and false assumptions imposed by society must be discarded. Most of us grew up taught to seek stability and security. Any deviation looks dangerous and wrong. But Helena Blavatsky taught us to see the true reality behind this false facade. Your doubts and inner resistance are not weaknesses, but your higher self refusing to compromise with artificial constraints. For instance, a mystic woman shared how she tried for a long time to live like everyone else, but felt her soul decaying. True relief and mission awareness came only when she permitted herself to listen to the inner voice and study spiritual knowledge. This process is like a purification, breaking old patterns to open new doors to a deeper understanding of oneself and the world. At the heart of your path lies something invisible yet deeply felt by the whole heart, your destiny, born within you like a calling echoing inside the soul. Helena Blavatsky called this the fire that cannot be put out, the flame of divine vocation. Your calling is not to fit into something, but to create, to lead instead of follow, to be a beacon in a world full of lost souls. This might sound scary because going against the flow always is. But here's a story about an artist who left a stable office job to paint pictures inspiring millions. His refusal to comply with social norms became his strength and recognition. Like him, you can find your way by no longer fearing judgment or forced roles. The most amazing thing about this journey is how the world, once hostile and unwelcoming, reveals itself as a space full of opportunities for those walking their unique path. Helena Blavatsky believed every person embodies cosmic energy, and living in harmony with it lets the world guide us gently. What once seemed obstacles become steps in spiritual growth, and this growth often remains unseen at first. A woman I know went through many trials and periods of inner silence, then suddenly discovered a string of fortunate events following every small step. This effect is no coincidence, but a manifestation of divine timing unfolding perfectly. What should you do if you feel this call and inner resistance? First, accept yourself as you are, with all doubts and fears. Blavatsky said acceptance is the first step to transformation. Do not try to be someone else or fit expectations. Rather, allow yourself to be a person with unique gifts and a mission. One acquaintance worried his ideas were too unusual and misunderstood. But once he allowed himself to express freely and share thoughts, he found people drawn to his light and support. His life changed dramatically, confirming Blavatsky's wisdom. The true path starts with inner freedom. Do not fear walking alongside this inner call. Yes, it may be hard, releasing old beliefs and habits, but feel the support flowing from higher realms. Remember when you first heard about Helena Blavatsky and how spiritual seekers like her went through trials before finding their true role. Your story is unique and important. Each chosen one, like you, is not a cosmic accident, but a necessary part of a grand plan to transform the world. Now that you have become more attentive to your inner voice and understand that the world may not always accept your ideas, it is time to consider your next step. Do not rush or fear change. Turn to your deepest feelings and explore your soul's depths. An incredible journey lies ahead, revealing who you truly are. May this path, like Helena Blavatsky's life, be a source of inspiration and strength. Remember, every step is awakening to new truths and powers. Ahead are discoveries that will change not only your life, but also the lives of those walking beside you. The next part will focus on how to begin truly listening to yourself, recognizing signs of destiny, and practical steps toward awakening your chosen self. Keep moving forward with an open heart, because what you seek is already finding you. Breaking free from social conditioning and discovering your true mission. Imagine feeling alone and misunderstood in a world that seems to demand conformity. What if these feelings are not punishments, but rather signals? Signals that your soul was never meant for the dull grey of everyday routine or the predictable pattern of societal expectations. What if the doubts and barriers you hide so carefully inside are actually a call to awaken? Picture a person who has spent their entire life trying to fit into a system, meeting others' demands, but each time losing a piece of themselves. This is no coincidence, it is a challenge. A quiet inner voice, much like the one experienced by Helena Blavatsky, whispers softly, "You are meant for something greater." Like many others, she walked the path of searching for deep meaning, embraced ancient wisdom, and awakened hidden potentials in herself and others. Her life stands as a radiant example of how resisting worldly norms can lead to a profound spiritual journey. Many live life on autopilot, following long-established societal norms. Yet among them are those who feel like strangers even in the most familiar places. For instance, there was a woman who always sensed her talent was too unique for a traditional office, and her ideas too bold for everyday routine. She could not stay long in workplaces that valued strict adherence to instructions over inspiration and creativity. Her soul craved freedom and self-expression. This spiritual discord, as Blavatsky might describe it, became her gateway to realizing her true mission. Another example is a man who dedicated his life to work in pursuit of security and stability, but suddenly felt an overwhelming urge to change the world around him. He started to ask himself why the endless race for material things feels hollow when true peace and happiness lie within. These experiences are common. They mark a shift in consciousness, an evolution of the soul, as Helena Blavatsky taught, highlighting the importance of rising toward higher realms of existence and shedding imposed limitations. You might wonder, why does this internal call get drowned out by society's fears and doubts so often? The reason lies in a world structured around principles that ignore the human spirit. We are taught to measure success by the amount of work done and money earned. Yet those destined for a special mission find that titles and positions leave their souls empty. Take a young person who, despite excellent performance in studies and work, felt an inner emptiness. His inspiration did not stem from career achievements, but from a calling to serve and create. Helena Blavatsky repeatedly emphasized that the human soul carries sacred tasks far beyond material accomplishment. It is like planting a rare flower in unsuitable soil. It might grow, but never blossom in full splendor. Moments like these bring the realization that outward success does not equate to inner awakening. What many mistake for laziness or lack of motivation is, in fact, profound spiritual resistance. One man known to me struggled constantly with the reluctance to engage in repetitive tasks, often criticized by society for it. Yet inside, he knew his strength and purpose laid beyond everyday duties, in awakening hearts and leading others without fear of following his own path. Helena Blavatsky called this an inner ray that cannot be extinguished. It is this ray that guides the chosen toward their true destiny, breaking old molds and overcoming challenges. Though at times it may seem that others do not understand you, and even you doubt yourself, this is a sign that you are being led toward a luminous future. Awakening the chosen one's path is never easy. It requires rejecting many prejudices and false beliefs imposed since childhood. Most of us were raised to seek stability and security, with any deviation seen as dangerous or wrong. But Helena Blavatsky taught us to look beyond this false facade to the true reality beneath. Your doubts and inner resistance are not weaknesses. They are your highest refusal to compromise with artificial constraints. Consider a mystic woman who long tried to live like everyone else, but felt she was destroying her soul. Only when she allowed herself to listen to the inner voice and study spiritual wisdom did relief and mission awareness come. This process resembles cleansing and breaking old foundations, fully opening doors to new understanding. At the core of your journey lies something intangible yet profoundly felt, a purpose already born within you. Helena Blavatsky called this an unquenchable flame, a divine calling that cannot be put out. Your mission is not to blend in, but to create, not to follow others' scripts, but to lead and be a beacon in a world where many feel lost. Sometimes this sounds frightening because going against the flow is hard. For example, an artist I know left a stable office job to create paintings that inspire millions. His rejection of social norms became a source of strength and recognition precisely because he followed his inner voice. You too can find your path by no longer fearing others' opinions and imposed roles. What is remarkable in this journey is how the world, once seen as hostile and unfriendly, begins to unfold as a place rich with opportunities for those who walk their unique road. Helena Blavatsky believed every person is a living embodiment of cosmic energy. When we start living in harmony with this energy, the world leads us gently by the hand. Obstacles transform into steps towards spiritual growth, a process not necessarily visible at first. A woman I know endured many trials and long periods of inner silence before she saw how every small step brought a series of fortunate events. This effect is no coincidence, but a manifestation of a divine plan unfolding at the perfect time. What should you do if you begin to feel this call and inner resistance? First, accept yourself fully, including all doubts and fears. Helena Blavatsky said acceptance is the first step to transformation. Do not try to be someone else or fit into others' expectations. Instead, allow yourself to be a person with unique gifts and a mission. A friend once worried that his unconventional ideas were misunderstood by those around him. Yet once he dared to express himself openly and share his thoughts, feedback flowed swiftly. People gravitated toward him for light and support, and his life changed dramatically. This confirms Blavatsky's wisdom that the true path begins with inner freedom. Do not fear following this internal challenge. Yes, it may be difficult at times, requiring you to release old beliefs and habits, but feel the support from higher realms. Remember when you first heard about Helena Blavatsky and spiritual seekers like her who underwent trials before finding their true roles. Your story is equally unique and important. Every chosen person like you is not an accident in the universe, but a vital part of a great plan to transform the world. Now, as you become more attentive to your inner voice and realize that the world may not always embrace your thoughts, it is time to consider your next step. Do not rush or fear change. Turn to your deepest feelings and allow yourself to explore the depths of your soul. A remarkable journey awaits to uncover who you truly are. Let this path, like that of Helena Blavatsky's, become a source of inspiration and strength. Remember, every step is an awakening to new truth and power. Ahead lie discoveries that will change not only your life, but also those who walk beside you. The next part of our conversation will focus on how to begin truly listening to yourself, recognizing the signs of destiny, and practical steps on the path to awakening the chosen one within. Keep walking with an open heart, because what you seek is already finding you. Cultivating spiritual freedom and creating a new path forward. What if I told you that the feelings of loneliness and misunderstanding you experience in this world are not punishments, but signs? Signs that your soul was not made for dull routines and monotony. Those barriers and inner doubts you hide so carefully might actually be a call to wake up. Imagine someone who has spent their whole life trying to fit into a system, meeting other people's demands, yet every time feeling they lose themselves. This is not a coincidence, it is a challenge. An inner voice, much like the one Helena Blavatsky heard, softly whispers, "You were made for something greater." She, like many others, walked the path of searching for deep meaning, absorbed wisdom, and was able to awaken hidden potential both within herself and others. Her life is a vivid example of how resisting the world's usual rules can become the beginning of a great spiritual journey. There are many people living on autopilot, following long-established norms. Yet among them, there are always those who feel like strangers, even in the most familiar places. For example, a woman who always believed her talent was too unusual for a traditional office, and her ideas too bold for everyday life. She could never stay long in a work environment that valued only strict instruction following and not inspiration or creativity. Her soul demanded freedom and self-expression. This inner dissatisfaction, a spiritual dissonance as Helena Blavatsky called it, became her road to discovering her mission. Another example is a man who dedicated his whole life to work for the sake of security and stability, but suddenly felt a strong desire to change the world around him. He began asking, why this endless chase for material things when peace and happiness reside inside? Such feelings are not rare. They signal a shift in consciousness, the soul's evolution, as Helena Blavatsky taught, emphasizing the importance of moving toward higher states of being and rejecting imposed limits. You might wonder, why is this inner voice often drowned out by the fears and doubts of society? The reason lies in the fact that the modern world operates on principles that do not acknowledge the spiritual essence of a person. We are accustomed to believing that success equals the amount of work done and money earned. However, those whom fate calls to a special mission find that no position or title fills their soul. Take, for instance, a young man excelling in his studies and job, yet feeling an emptiness inside. He was inspired not by career achievements, but by service and creativity. Helena Blavatsky repeatedly stated in her works that the human soul has secret tasks that cannot be fulfilled within merely material accomplishments. It's like trying to plant a rare flower in unsuitable soil. It might grow, but never bloom in all its beauty. In moments like these, one realizes that external success is not equal to inner awakening. What many mistake for laziness or lack of motivation is in reality a profound resistance of the spirit. A man I know struggled with a constant reluctance to engage in routine tasks. Society criticized him for this, but inside, he understood that his strength and purpose lie beyond daily duties, in awakening hearts and leading people without fear of following his own path. Helena Blavatsky called this the inner ray that cannot be extinguished. This ray leads the chosen ones to their true purpose, compelling them to break old molds and overcome difficulties. Even if it seems that others do not understand, and sometimes you yourself have doubts, it is a sign that you are being led toward a bright future. The path of awakening the chosen is never easy. One must reject many prejudices and false beliefs imposed by society since childhood. Most of us were raised to seek stability and security, and any deviation from these norms seems dangerous and wrong. But Helena Blavatsky taught us to see the true reality behind this false facade. Your doubts and inner resistance are not weakness, but your higher self refusing to compromise with artificial limits. For example, a mystic woman told me she tried for a long time to live like everyone else, but felt she was killing her soul. Only when she allowed herself to listen to her inner voice and delve into spiritual knowledge did true relief and awareness of her mission come. This process is like cleansing, breaking old foundations to fully open the doors to a new understanding of self and world. At the core of your journey, there is something that cannot be seen or touched, yet can be felt with all your heart, a calling born within you, echoing in your soul. Helena Blavatsky called this the fire that cannot be extinguished, the fire of divine vocation. Your mission is not to fit in somewhere, but to create something. Not to follow someone else's scripts, but to lead. Be a lighthouse in a world where many are lost. Sometimes this sounds frightening, because going against the current is never easy. As one example, I call to mind an artist who quit a stable office job to paint pictures inspiring millions. His refusal to conform became a source of power and recognition precisely because he followed his inner voice. You too can find your way by no longer fearing others' opinions and forced roles. The most amazing thing on this path is that the world, which seemed hostile and unwelcoming, begins to reveal itself as a place full of opportunities for those who follow their unique path. Helena Blavatsky believed that each person is a living embodiment of cosmic energy. And when we start living in harmony with this energy, the world begins to lead us by the hand. What once seemed like obstacles turns into steps towards spiritual growth. This growth may not immediately be visible. A woman I know, after many trials and periods of inner silence, suddenly saw how one small step led to a series of fortunate events. This effect is no accident, but a manifestation of a divine plan unfolding at the perfect moment. What should you do if you begin to feel this call and inner resistance? First, accept yourself as you are, doubts and fears included. Helena Blavatsky said acceptance is the first step toward transformation. Don't try to be someone else or conform to expectations and standards. Instead, allow yourself to be a human with unique gifts and a mission. One man worried that his ideas were too unconventional and not understood by others. But when he allowed himself to express openly and share his thoughts, the response was quick. People reached out to him for light and support, and his life changed drastically. This confirms Blavatsky's wisdom teaching that the true path begins with inner freedom. Do not fear to walk in step with this inner call. Yes, it might be difficult, and you may have to let go of old beliefs and habits, but allow yourself to feel the support coming from higher realms. Remember how you first heard about Helena Blavatsky and how spiritual seekers like her always face trials before finding their real role. Your story is unique and important. Every chosen one, like you, is no accident in the universe but a necessity, part of a vast plan to transform the world around us. Now that you have become more attentive to your inner voice and understand that the world is not always ready to accept your thoughts, it is time to consider the next step. Do not rush or fear change. Turn to your most intimate feelings. Allow yourself to explore the depths of your soul. An incredible journey awaits, revealing who you really are. Let this journey, like Helena Blavatsky's life, be a source of inspiration and strength for you. Remember, every step is a waking to new truths and new strength. Ahead are discoveries that will change not just your life, but the lives of those walking beside you. The next part of this journey will focus on how exactly to start listening to yourself, recognize the signs of destiny, and practical steps on the path to awakening the chosen within. Keep moving forward with an open heart, because what you seek is already finding you.